Evening everybody, hope you've all had a good day. So I've been working today, I've just been out on a run and I've come back and seen obviously YouTube full of the news that the British Boxing Board of Control have effectively held their position in terms of Conor Benn, and Conor Benn has relinquished his licence. So I'm urging everybody not to be fooled. What I'm trying to do is, they say it's important that you're well informed. Well, I have all the information I need on this case, and what I won't be doing is spending the next couple of hours listening to Eddie Hearn. Next week I won't be listening to Conor Benn. That might sound like I'm condemning a man. That's not my intention. It really isn't. What I urge people to do is to use their eyes and to watch, use their ears and to listen to everything that's gone on. So if you think back to big trials that have been public, they've kind of been held in the court of the public opinion and they've played out before our eyes. Now, I always think of the O.J. Simpson trial. I remember being glued to that, absolutely fascinated. It was on Sky News every night and I've just become hooked on it, absolutely hooked on it. And what I learned then, obviously that was a very, very high profile, the highest profile murder case that we've probably ever seen. And that, for me, was all about the defence. So O.J. Simpson had such a fantastic defence during that trial, Johnny Cocker and everybody else, and I think it was Netflix that did the miniseries, which was pretty good. What was the job of that defence? Is it to prove a man is innocent? No, that's never the job of a defence. The job of a defence is to put doubt in the minds of a jury, okay? Doubt in the minds of a jury. So why is this guy, myself, making videos about O.J. Simpson? I'm not. What we heard during the O.J. Simpson trial, and for more recent times, the Making a Murderer, the Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey case, Teresa Holbeck's murder. What do we do? What do defendants do? What do the defence team do? They put doubt in your minds. Now that is what Eddie Hearn and the lawyers and Conor Benn's going to do next week. They're not going to try and prove his innocence. They're trying to prove he might not be guilty. There's a difference. So we know that VADA have done the tests. They've done an A sample and a B sample. We've had the results of the A sample. There was adverse findings for clomidine, okay? We all know what that drug does now. We've seen enough about it and heard enough about it in the last few weeks to form a good opinion of why Conor Benn had that in his system. So back to the defence, back to Eddie Hearn, back to Team Benn. You're going to hear things over the next few weeks, and we called this several weeks ago. My friend and Russell Hartley, we were talking about this several weeks ago. They tried to put doubt in your mind. You're going to hear the word contamination. Weeks ago, this was called, there'll be contamination. We're going to put doubts in your mind about the validity of the test, the adverse finding. That is exactly what's going to play out today and over the next few weeks. Because Eddie Hearn, and this is not a witch hunt in terms of Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn, I don't know either, and I don't particularly care for either. But I certainly don't have a reason or an axe to grind. But what all they're about is the money. They're all about the money. They're all about keeping the Benn bandwagon rolling. The Anthony Joshua train, the Express, has gone off the rails. The Zone are in a tough place in terms of the UK market. They're in a tough place globally. Over £1 billion worth of losses, £1.5 billion worth of losses over the last 2 or 3 years. They haven't cracked the UK market. Eddie hasn't cracked the UK market. He desperately needs you to believe that Conor Benn inadvertently took a banned substance. That is what the defence is all about. I'll keep repeating the words contamination. You're going to hear the words contamination. We have concerns about the process that was followed. We have concerns about what happened. There are tiny amounts of that drug in Conor Benn's system. That's all you're going to hear. And us as boxing fans and us as the public, we're not stupid. Conor Benn, Eddie Hearn, we are not stupid. We can see what you're trying to do, and I urge everybody to not fall for this. Not fall for this. To the best of our knowledge, there's been no B sample requested. The Boxing Board of Control, who are stacked with the Queen's Counsel, these are very, very shrewd operators. The British Boxing Board of Control uphold their position. There was a rule broken. That rule was in terms of a banned substance. They don't lightly uphold their position. They'll have had the same evidence placed on their lap that everybody else will have had. But the British Boxing Board of Control, they just deal with what's on the table. They just deal with the facts. They deal with the evidence, and they've upheld their position. So all we're going to hear now is the crying from Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn. What this reminds me of, it's the equivalent of somebody at work who's in a high profile position facing a charge of gross misconduct and then resigning. Why would you do that? People do that because that means that you can't be found guilty. Conor Benn has relinquished his licence. The Boxing Board of Control can't ban him. They can't ban him because he's given up his licence. He's not a licence holder. This is so painfully obvious for me and for us all. But all they are doing is they're trying to keep the Benn bandwagon going. It was so predictable weeks ago that what's coming, and you watch this now, I make boxing predictions, some I get right, some I get wrong. This is not a prediction on a fight, this is a prediction on an outcome. We might never truly find what the real outcome is because there's going to be so many smoke screens around this. But you're going to hear from Conor Benn next week. You're going to hear from Eddie Hearn. We haven't heard much from them recently, have we? Okay? But what do you do? Does a guilty man run? Does a guilty man run from the scene of a crime? Is that what you do? Because that's exactly what Conor Benn's done. He's a licence holder. He's given up his licence. He's relinquished his licence. Just have a think about that. Have a think about what's gone on for the last few weeks. Have a think about what we know. And have a little go down memory lane. Let's have a think about the history. Conor Benn was a novice amateur. He was a novice average amateur. He got no amateur pedigree. He turned professional. His father openly said, I was questioning my son in boxing. He was slapping, he'd got no power. There was not a lot going on. I was going to tell him to pack it in. Conor Benn had an up and down with Hearn, a non-punching Frenchman who dropped him heavily several times. It was a close fight. All of a sudden, since that Hearn fight, we have seen massive improvements in Conor Benn. Not just improvements in his technique, which does come with experience. He's definitely polishing up his technique. We've seen improvements in his power and his explosive work. Young men grow. They do fill out when they become full-time pros. But Conor Benn was a skinny, 10-stone, pencil-necked light welterweight. He's now a beast who was prepared to fight an iron-jawed middleweight, albeit a weakened iron-jawed middleweight, in Chris Eubank Jr. Just look around you, open your eyes. We're not hanging a young man, but what we haven't seen and we won't see is any apology from Conor Benn. Nothing, just excuse after excuse after excuse. So just think about it. How many athletes and how many boxers have we seen test positive for banned substances and put their hands up and say, I was wrong, I am sorry, I tried to get a leg up? How many? None. Nobody ever admits they've taken bad substances, ever. So it's going to play out. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you liking, subscribing and sharing. I don't put enough videos out for you, but I'm being serious in this one. I have seen firsthand, and I won't bore you with the story because most people know what the story is, of a young man's dream destroyed due to drugs cheats in sport and in boxing. I've been part of that camp. I've been part of that team that has had moments, life-changing moments, moments that could tell the grandkids about, taken away from them. You all know I'm talking about Sykes and Adrian Broner and Lamont Peterson failing his drug test in the rematch with Amir Khan. Anybody who knows me knows that I was involved in that. Do not feel sorry for drugs cheats. Do not believe what you hear the next few weeks. You will not hear anything conclusive. All you are going to hear is contamination, small traces, there is doubt. Due process was not followed. This is the defence team. This is the defence team. And you guys, okay, we're not judge, but we are juror, and we can make up our own minds. Thank you very much. And I encourage you not to be swayed by everything you hear, everything you read, by all these sound bites. Go with the statements of facts. VADA, adverse finding. A doctor in camp who joined the Benn camp this year, who's gone missing. He's gone off the face of the earth. Dr. Uz, we all know about him. We all know what his role is, and we all know what his speciality is. Testosterone replacement therapy. Hormone replacement therapy. Testosterone is a hormone. Look at the improved performances. Look around you. Look at the Conor Benn. Look at the massive improvement from a fighter, as I've just said, having up and down yo-yo thrillers with light punching Frenchmen, knocking out world-class fighters, sparking them. The same world-class fighters who would do rounds and rounds and rounds and not get dropped by the elite of the division. And this novice comes into boxing, and this is what happens. Come on. It's nonsense. It's rubbish. We know what's happened. And Eddie, you are not fooling anybody. You are not fooling me. You are not fooling everybody out there. And anybody who supports this and doesn't think the fighter should be banned and should just get a slap on the wrist, you are contributing to the demise of our beautiful sport and the demise and the waning integrity that used to be left in professional boxing. Do the right thing. Boycott future events until a punishment has been served. Thank you.
Yeah. My prediction for Fury Chisora. Tyson Fury inside 3 rounds. Alright? You know, when it rains here, it rains, so I'm going in. Alright? Tyson Fury inside 3 rounds. Peace out. Porky's Corner is proud to be sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.
You like that one, didn't you? Right, first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for liking and subscribing. It means a lot to me, because we're on this journey together, aren't we? So anybody got any ideas for the channel, fire them over to me, porkycorner@mail.com. Alright? Shout out to Innovation Alloys and South Yorkshire Packaging. Alright? Don't forget to subscribe, keep on trucking.